I'll be talking about the Back to the Future trilogy and the making of the movies. I'll briefly be talking about the movie's plot, so if you haven't seen any of these, there will be spoilers. Now, on to the video. What is Back to the Future? For anyone who doesn't know, Back to the Future is a sci-fi comedy made in the middle of 1980. The movie is about a boy named Marty and his friend Dr. Brown. Dr. Brown is a scientist who is an inventor, and Marty helps him make and run inventions. Marty isn't always around though because he's finishing up his last year of high school. One day, Doc has an idea for a thing called the flux capacitor, which is the key to time travel. Doc ends up making deals with terrorist groups in an attempt to get plutonium for his fuel.
They found me. I don't know how, but they found me.
Run for it, Marty! Who? Who do you think? The Libyans!
While doing this, he gets shot down by the terrorists, and Marty tries to go back in time to save him. Instead, Marty ends up traveling back to the year where his dad and mom were still in high school. When trying to get back, he runs into his father and ends up making it so his mom falls in love with him instead of his dad. So now he has to try to get his mom and dad back together so he doesn't not exist. The starting of Back to the Future. Now that you know how the story goes, we can talk about how it was made. Bob Gale and Bob Zemeckis had always wanted to make a movie about time travel. One day, when Gale was reading through his dad's old yearbook, he thought to himself, would me and my dad be friends if we had gone to high school together? After that, he knew he wanted the movie to be about how everyone's parents were young ones too, and how everybody can control their own destiny. What is Back to the Future 2? Back to the Future 2 takes place directly after the first one. At the end of the first movie, Doc Brown goes away on vacation to the future. But immediately after, he returns saying that he has to take Marty and Marty's girlfriend to the future. Marty asks how they'll even get there, and Doc shows that he upgraded his technology to fly as they zip onto the future. Now that they're in the future, Marty asks Doc why they're even in the future. Doc tells Marty,
What happens to your son?
My son? God, he looks just like me. Within 2 hours of his arrest, Martin McFly Jr. was tried, convicted, and sentenced to 15 years in the state penitentiary? Within 2 hours?
so Marty stops his son from getting arrested, and in the process leaves the time machine open for an older man to help his future self get rich. This then makes an alternate timeline where everything is controlled now by this wealthy man.
Prior to this point in time, somewhere in the past, the timeline skewed into this tangent, creating an alternate 1985. Alternate to you, me, and Einstein, but reality for everyone else.
Now they have to stop this from ever happening. The starting of Back to the Future 2. Originally, Bob Gale and Bob Zemeckis didn't want to make another movie, despite how well Back to the Future was doing in the box office. Bob Zemeckis and Bob Gale weren't going to do another movie when approached by Universal Studios to make a sequel. It was only when Sid Sheinberg, the head of Universal Studios, said that a sequel would be made with or without them. They then said yes to another movie, but on one condition.
We need to have Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd commit to it. As long as we know that we would have those guys in the movie, yes, we will make a sequel.
What is Back to the Future 3? The movie begins with Marty in the past when Marty's dad's still in high school. They had just stopped an alternate timeline from happening and were checking on things to make sure everything went back to normal. Doc was flying the time machine when out of nowhere a strike of lightning hits his car, sending Doc back in time. Marty has no idea where Doc is until a postman comes up to Marty.
A letter.
A letter from me? Dear Marty, if my calculations are correct, you will receive this letter immediately after you saw the DeLorean struck by lightning. First, let me assure you that I'm alive and well. I've been living happily these past 8 months in the year 1885. The lightning bolt... 1885! September 1885!
Marty then goes back to the Doc from the first movie with the note, and they read it together. They soon figure out that Doc buried the time machine in a place where Marty will be able to dig it up and use it to save Doc. When Marty gets there, though, there is no more fuel, and Marty and Doc will have to find a way to get back to the present. Casting for Back to the Future 3. As well as playing Marty in this movie, Michael J. Fox also gets to play as Marty's ancestor, Seamus McFly. Since Marty and Seamus were played by the same person, it took good camera work and editing to make it appear like there were two Martys. Mary Steenburgen stars as Clara Clayton, a schoolteacher that falls in love with Doc.
Emmett Brown at your service, Miss.
Clayton. Clara Clayton.
Pop culture. Back to the Future was a great trilogy that inspired a lot of media. Back to the Future was even referenced in some famous shows like The Simpsons.
Wow, it worked! My time machine has worked! This is the most fantastically powerful invention in mankind's history! Here, kid, hold my keys while I grab some lunch.
Family Guy.
Right past, here I come. Wow, everybody in 1955 was on fire.
The Office.
Sort of thing.
We could do Back to the Future.
Oh,
We have to convince Dunder and Mifflin to go back in time, fix their parents.
Bob's Burgers.
Get your phone. Hey! Oh, hey, looks a little loose right here, huh? That came right off in my hand. You can't do that.
Yeah, get your damn hands off her, Biff.
American Dad. And a whole episode of Supernatural based off of the first Back to the Future.
Hey, Winchester. Son of a... How you doing, Corporal?
Hey, Mr. D.
I heard you were back.
Yeah, a little while now.
Good to have you home, John. Damn good. Dad. Well, say hello to your old man for me.
You got it, Mr.
Back to the Future even helped create some shows with its unique form. It inspired the creation of Doctor Who.
explain the mechanics of the infinite temporal flux. I know. Back to the Future. It's like Back to the Future.
The film.
No, the novelization. Yes, the film.
And Rick and Morty. There's even an episode of Jimmy Kimmel's talk show where Doc and Marty enter in during the middle of the show. This concludes all there is to know about the 3 Back to the Future movies. I hope you enjoyed hearing about these 3 fantastic films. Bye.